Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Sean Aylmer.
Hello, Michael.
Sean, on weekdays, it's all about the Fast 5, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, of course, we still keep it to 5 minutes, but we're going to pick out the biggest story of the week, the most remarkable story, a sleeper story, one that's flying under the radar a little, and our favourite business story for the week. So let's jump into it. What was the biggest story this week?
Believe it or not, US bond yields. Yep, biggest story, maybe not the most fascinating, but really important. A bond is like an IOU issued by a government, like a federal government, a state government. Companies do it. A bond issued by the US government is very, very safe. You can buy a 10-year government bond and get 4.6%. That's its highest level in 15 years. Why do we care about that? Because everything else, think equities, currencies, property, alternative investments, rely on bond yields for their valuation. Firstly, the bond yield is what you get for a safe investment. So you want some higher return on those other ones. Secondly, that bond yield actually impacts how you calculate future earnings. Wrapping all that up, higher bond yields mean equities look less attractive. 15-year highs in bond yields, what's that meant? Meant equities fell to 11-month lows on Wall Street and in Australia. The Aussie dollar fell to below 63 US cents. All sorts of machinations in commodity markets. People have made a lot or lost a lot of money this week, Michael, on the back of US bond yields.
Yeah, that definitely was the biggest story this week. An honourable mention as well for the interest rate decision. It was the first meeting for the new Reserve Bank Governor, Michelle Bullock. Rates were left on hold, and just everyone was interested to see kind of whether her assessments would vary on things like inflation and employment and house prices. Largely still the same. Bad news is there is the potential still for another rate hike because inflation is still too high, Sean.
Indeed it is.
Most remarkable story. I've got a good one for this, and I think it is genuinely remarkable. Now, a week ago, it was very hot. Everyone had their aircon kind of cranked up, and you would expect that when that's happening, you'd have the coal-fired power stations cranked up to the max as well. It wasn't the case. With all that sun shining, rooftop solar in Australia supplied more than 50% of total demand on the national energy market, and coal power generation fell accordingly. Look, you wouldn't want to be running a coal-fired generator right now. Last Saturday, that power generation fell to below its previous lowest point. And one final stat, Sean, I know I've given a lot of numbers and things here, but in Queensland and South Australia, from 1 to 1:30 p.m. on Sunday, rooftop solar met 99.7% of total electricity demand. Half an hour, yes, but a pretty remarkable half hour.
Yeah, sure is. Look, my most remarkable story was the US House of Representatives Speaker Kevin McCarthy becoming the first speaker in the US history to be voted out of the top job after members of his own Republican Party sided with Democrats to dump him. His chief rival, a Florida congressman called Matt Gaetz, he's also a Donald Trump supporter, pushed to get rid of him. 11 hard right conservatives joined the Democrats. They did get rid of him. What's it all mean? Well, the Speaker is among the most important positions in US politics. It oversees the lower house. That house can't pass legislation without a leader. So spending bills like money for Ukraine or keeping the bureaucracy opening. Also, McCarthy's defeat pushes the Republican leadership into chaos, which won't help their chances in next year's election. Truly remarkable.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now, have you found a sleeper story for us, Sean?
I have. For mortgage holders, it's been a much tougher 12 months than the previous 3 years. Obviously, interest rates have been rising, but also competition has been slacking. The banks haven't quite had their heart in competing with each other, preferring to rebuild profit margins. On top of that, we've had the so-called mortgage cliff, where people are shifting from fixed-rate loans, which charge interest rates in the low 2s, to variable rate loans of low 6s. The Commonwealth Bank has long been the gorilla in the highly profitable home lending market, but in recent months, it's been losing market share, and that could be good news for borrowers because it's unlikely that the country's largest bank is happy to continue going backwards. Data from the regulator shows that Commonwealth Bank's loan book has fallen, albeit slightly, for the past couple of months. First time that's happened in 20 years. Home lending is very price-driven. Commonwealth Bank for several months has been pricing well above its competitors. I reckon the Commonwealth Bank will want to win back market share. It'll cut rates. New bout of mortgage competition. We're the winners.
That is a good story.
It is, Michael.
My favourite story for the week.
Yes, tell me.
I love money stories. Any kind of money story is a good one for me. And we've had the first glimpse of what our new money is going to look like with the face of King Charles III on the side. This was revealed by the Royal Australian Mint late in the week. It'll start with the $1 coin, then other denominations rolled out progressively next year. And it's big news because it's the first real change to our currency in 70 years. I love this, though, that King Charles faces left and Queen Elizabeth faced right on the coins. Apparently, it's a tradition that they alternate kind of sides. I don't know why. Where do you reckon these traditions come from? Do you know, it was just like a coincidence for the first few years, and then it's like, okay, we've done it now. We better stick with it forever.
Charles II actually introduced this one back in 1680. There you go.
That is odd. Okay, that's my favourite story. It's a short and sweet one. I look forward to seeing the new coins rolling out.
Yeah, so do I.
All right, there we go. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Don't forget to hit follow and join us online on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook and X. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed.